So he has by the way, he has explained this in very detail. I just watched like part one of like a 3-part like kind of interview thing that he did where they were watching the music video and they paused constantly and he was telling why he did this, what he was showing.
I'm going to tell you, I would love to sit through The Shining and listen to Stanley Kubrick talk about it. Which I have, but he doesn't give you anything.
Yeah. He does. He tells you exactly what's going on in his mind, what he meant by this, because this is literally him telling his story in a way of himself. Like, this is all about himself and like what he's gone through in his, in part of his bipolar disorder and everything, like in his manic,
Interestingly enough, so there's a band I listen to called Dirty Heads that has a song. That's surprising. They
had a very popular song.
Have you heard that
in the 2000s?
I couldn't even have told
you that. Aren't they the ones that want to marry her anyway? No, that's not the Dirty. That's another group.
You're speaking of Magic.
Okay, yeah, no, but Dirty Heads had a very popular song in like the 2000s.
I mean, I know a lot of their songs, but I don't know about that one.
It was like the very popular radio song.
Got nothing.
Whatever. Okay.
Anywho, they have a song called Radio that essentially talks about, you heard me on the radio. They said that, I feel like how you're feeling, and he's like, well, you don't really know me, kind of thing. So you hear bands, and it's not the first band that's kind of alluded to that, they almost, I wouldn't say get offended, but they kind of are offended, where people feel like they're identifying with them, like they know exactly what you were talking about, and I know, and some bands don't take well to that, and maybe that's why I'm this way, because if you think about it, back in our day of music, you had a lot of bands like that. There wasn't this, I'm going to tell you all about my feelings, and I'm going to tell you about my video. It was all encased in this mysterious video you had to figure out,
and it was your interpretation of it, not them telling you this is what I'm showing you.
So I think it's maybe that part of it for me too, is that you
don't want to interpret it because you don't,
they want to leave it to you because
you want to interpret it your way, not exactly how they tell you.
And just like again, and I use The Shining because again, I would love to know what the man was thinking when he made that movie, but I do know that he did a lot of things to piss off Stephen King, which I just thought was great. I love it. But I don't know if I would ever have wanted to hear that before I saw the movie as many times as I have. Because that movie is just this moving, again, once you understand some of the imagery, once you've watched it so many times, you get that feeling from it. Would I have wanted to know do I want to know now how he fairly did it? It's going to change my perception.
Well, and that's why I want you know what I'm saying? That's why I want to see what you get from this without knowing what he meant. Just know
it's just
that
interesting
just know
to me.
That
it's like, would you want to know what they mean ahead of time before you see something? Or would you want to see it a million times and find out? Or would you just not want to know at all if you've interpreted something on your own?
Because I've reacted to the entire, for instance, BTS storyline twice. I reacted to it once on my own and then once with Caitlin because I was showing Caitlin. And I know, for me personally, I want to see it, try to understand and figure out the storyline myself first. And then once I'm done with the storyline, then I will watch the webtoon or read the books to actually fill in the gaps and see what I'm missing and what I got wrong or what I got right. Then I want to know. I want to try to figure it out on my own first, like a puzzle in a way, because you know me, I love escape rooms like that. I want to try to figure it out on my own first.
See how well I did with escape rooms.
Oh God, I want to try to figure it out on my own. You would 100%. But I want to try to figure it out on my own first, and then I want to see what I actually got right after.
See, I don't know if I mean, there are certain things, and again, I always use the movie The Shining because that has always so many questions. I mean, would it be nice to know, did his sweater really mean that? No, I'm sure it didn't, but, it would be. But, I don't know, it's something about not knowing.
So you don't want the truth, is what you're trying to say.
It's not that. It's the fact that it'd be nice to know what they were thinking, but in my opinion, it would change the way that I felt about what I just saw. If I saw this imagery as something major and moving, again, use The Shining, the scene with, because again, this is what
your favorite movie.
Well, no, because this is what made it even funnier to me. I watch the what do you call it, when they do the commentaries, and they do the commentaries and stuff, and no, it wasn't Kubrick that did it, and I watched about 4 hours of behind the scenes of everything, and watch what's his name, Jack Nicholson, get ready for the scenes, and all that guy's a nut, it just, but a lot of the stuff that I'm like, oh wow, that seeing that was cool to me, to see what was going on behind the scenes, how they got into the emotion, how they did all of that, but to hear, I don't know, I would love to hear what he saw or what he's thinking. It's just I don't know if that would then change my opinion and feeling the way that it is. So as I'm watching the commentary, again, little scenes in the movie that you don't think about.
If that's the case, would you want to know what it's about first, then watch it? That way you can enjoy it for what it is, rather than think it's something else and then be ruined.
But not necessarily, because then I'm already going in.
You can't have your cake and eat it too, lady.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't have an answer, because then I'm jaded going into it. So, again, I still use the movie
Is
The
that
Shining.
jaded? Are you jaded going into
Well,
it?
no, because now you're already looking
it?
for it. So you're angled already for that. You know, so again,
I make
the joke of the stupid VW bus in the scene where it gets into a wreck on the guy's, again, you know
that I've never actually seen that full movie, right?
Anywho,
just throwing that out there.
When he brings the snowcat up, because you can drive that like a car, for those of us who watch the movie, they think that's funny, but you don't. So anyway, so the funny thing, because now I think it's funny as shit, but it's a scene I never even thought was a major thing. But what it was that there was a VW bus in a very particular color that was hit by a semi-truck, and it was totaled. It was flattened under the semi.
Okay.
Completely benign scene until I listened to the commentary. The commentary, the reason why that bus was used, because Stephen King wanted Kubrick to use that particular one in another scene, and Kubrick said no. Stephen King said yes. Kubrick said, "This is my effing movie, my friend." And Kubrick would do things to piss Stephen King off.
So he flattened the damn vehicle and said,
so he used the car, absolutely.
Here you fucking go.
So now, every time I see the scene, I can't not think of that.
But,
and again, that's funny.
But don't you, but
what if it would have changed the whole way I thought about the movie?
But here's the thing. So, in the end, isn't it best that you go into it blind, watch it the way you want to watch it, get your own interpretation, and then figure out what's actually going on and all the little intricacies, because then you get the best of both worlds.
Yes.
Right?
But if I find out, like, if Kubrick came out and said, yeah, by the way, guys, what you just saw here, it's blah. And I'd be like,
well, fuck.
Right.
No, and I get that.
And then it would just be like all my balloons deflated. So it's kind of
that,
like, I guess the answer would be yes, but only if I knew it didn't deflate the excitement I had on something.
Once again, you can't have your cake and eat it too.
And that's why I choose just not to know.
Christ. That's so ridiculous. Okay, let's
Why have you made me think about this so hard? Because I never thought about it before.
Yeah. Well,
until I made resting bitch face during a video.
She was so resting bitch face during a reaction. I'm like, I'm gonna need something
this is my
from you.
Face.
I'm gonna need something from you. She's like, I don't know what to say. Like, something. Tell me what's on your mind. She's like, I don't know what's on my mind. I'm like, oh my god. Okay, so let's watch through this.
Tumbleweed.
Like, literally, that's why I feel like what was happening. Let's
watch through that was good.
Like, just the way he tried to give us a visual explanation or description of what he goes through, and also just like, you know, just not only that, it is also a story that he created, but it's a part of him as well. So it's like a combination of both things.
But I can understand somebody releasing that as hey, this is what this is about.
Yeah.
You know, like, that wouldn't have necessarily jaded me into anything.
Right, because this is his story.
Correct.
In a way.
This is his story, and you're reading into the imagery that he's created.
Yeah.
He's not saying, by the way, the gentleman over here with this eyeball, he's going to be like it's
well,
I guess he does kind of on that one. But I mean, more like
explains like for instance,
he's not explaining every single character, every scene.
I think he does.
Like, does he do it like?
Well, I've only seen
almost like a commentary.
Kind of. Okay. Like he's doing it with another reactor. His name is Jerry. He's actually friends with him.
He's trying to convey his message instead.
He is. He wants
to
understand what he was.
Right. So what he wants people not to misinterpret his music,
because it's so personal to him. This one in particular,
that's different, because you're not dealing with a band that not necessarily is offended, but frankly, the song Radio kind of sounds like it. You know, where it's kind of like, you identify with us because this is our music. You identify with us because you feel our music and you feel our message. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't necessarily mean right. And it doesn't necessarily mean that the message that you're hearing is the message that we needed to convey. You know, there's going to be certain songs, you know, like, again, that was the downfall of Toad, of making sure that they always had some poignant song in their repertoire of any of the albums that they had, and they did their music on their own terms. But you get that in their music and in their lyrics.
Right.
I mean, you don't have them to tell you what
But I have
Hold
a
Me Down
question.
means, you
What
know?
if you have a group who is making the music that they want, that they're intending with the message that they want to convey, and is massive?
What do you mean? What do you mean?
BTS, for example.
No, what do you mean, though?
Like
what do you mean
you're
by math?
saying, you're saying that, like for the example you're giving is, you know, because for instance, obviously, you know, they have songs that they've released and they have certain intentions, you know, or people interpret it certain ways, and they've explained like this is, you know, kind of what we intended with the song, right? But they've also released music in addition to that that clearly is very personal and talks about their struggle, like RM's song Persona, and he's just like, who am I? Like, am I RM? Am I Kim Namjoon? Am I, like, who am I? Am I the person you see on TV? Or am I the person I am when I'm at home?
But that
So
makes
it's like,
sense for them to convey, because they're trying to convey the message to their fans that they're not necessarily the person that the fans are perceiving them to be.
right. So
that makes
why
sense
can't you do both?
But because not all bands is that their intention with their music.
Right, but what I'm saying is that you're referencing like a group who kind of got annoyed and upset that like fans are just like think that they know.
Well, and again,
that they
it
know
was
them.
just a song they sang.
I know,
Yeah,
but
okay,
I'm just trying to use it as an example. Like this group's kind of annoyed or upset that the fans think that they know them based off of
song on a radio,
a song on a radio or whatever like that. But yet there's more to them than that. And I'm like, well, then why don't you convey that?
And
why
you're
don't
right.
you do both?
But some bands are to the point where they don't want to. They're just the music.
They don't feel the need to
necessarily
share that part of themselves.
Or,
but then
quite frankly, they're more private.
If that's the case, then you can't get upset by people making
And I
assumptions.
agree with that.
You know
I absolutely agree with that. You know, because
like once again, you can't have a cake and eat it too.
Understood.
You know,
and again, you're not going to make everybody happy in this. You know, and some people, I mean, it's no different than some of the people that are stepping off of social media because they can't handle some of the, you know, for their mental health or whatever. Jonah Hill just came out saying that he's not even going to promote his own new movies on stuff because of the mental toll that it takes.
Red carpet.
So
and all that
I
crap,
think sometimes, you know, you have the bands that are completely different ends of the spectrum. What these people are going through in this, for the lack of a better word, famousness. That's my new word, guys. Famousness. You know, but in they're almost to the point where they either have to explain themselves, or somebody's going to explain it for them and put words into their mouth.
Oh, well, that already happens even if they do explain themselves.
Well, that's true too. You know, so they, and they're so out there and they're so involved in everything, and they're so, I mean, the videos are beautiful. I mean, everything, most of them, you know, are pretty, just visually entertaining.
Visually beautiful. They're movies. They're mini movies.
But they're so over the top that they're immersed in that. You know, whereas if you see, and again, you know, some of the bands that I listen to can be more obscure because they are obscure.
Yeah.
You know,
well, they don't necessarily have this kind of budget either. You know
absolutely.
What I mean?
You know, but even it just, I think that a lot of the music that I listen to are bands that don't want to step into that limelight like that.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of it
they're
is
comfortable where they're at.
Yeah, they're trying to get, you know, a lot of the ska music that I listen to out of Hawaii. I actually didn't know until I started listening to it the struggles that the indigenous people there have.
Oh yeah.
And the fact that there is a movement to try to take back the island.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in Hawaii right now.
And it's pretty, you know, and I heard that through their music. And again, it was different bands, you know, it wasn't a particular band or anything, but a lot of them, like The Green is out of, you know, Hawaii. It's you listen to it and you're like, oh wow, you know, you don't need them to explain the struggle. You know, you're hearing that in the Marley did the same thing. You didn't need Bob to tell you what his songs were about.
Yeah.
You knew what his songs were about. You know, and
but I guess in my opinion, like you don't necessarily need to, if you're just listening to the song and reading the lyric interpretation, you don't need to necessarily have them tell you what the song's about, because you can read what the song's about, but you also get the added layer of the visual aspect as well that helps tell a story for people who sometimes just don't get it by reading the lyrics.
And
they need something more, you know what I mean? Like, and I like the fact that they give you that something more. not every
the
time, 'cause
production values are amazing.
They can't do that for every single song, but you know.
No, and the production values are amazing. I mean, look, my band is so broke that, well, that sounds bad the way I say it that way, but anyway, they're so not quite mainstream that, frankly, they only put out a couple videos out of every of their albums. Most of the other ones are either lyric videos or, I mean, I don't know what you call the ones where they have a scenery in the background and it does the...
It's a visualizer.
Yeah, they do, because they're out of Cali, they do a lot of Cali stuff.
Visualizers, yeah.
You know, so a couple of the songs, you know, they'll do a video out of. Other than that, that's it. And all of their stuff, like, unless you buy their CDs at a concert, everything's streamed.
How many times do they come out with it? Like on average, like when was before the last album? Like, when was the last album that came out? And when was the album before
the
that?
last one, most of us crowdsource for their, you know, to help them fundraise.
Right.
They just released New Constellation was before. The newest one is, it's got the, I can't remember.
When? It doesn't matter when.
I just bought it at their concert. They just came out with it maybe a year ago.
Okay.
Maybe a year and a half.
And that was the newest one?
That is one of their newest, yes.
About a year and a half ago?
Possibly, yeah.
Okay.
Maybe 2 years.
What about, so their newest album was about 2 years ago?
Possibly, yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
What about before that?
That was New Constellation, which was probably a few years before, maybe a little longer before
maybe
that.
Maybe 3 years before that. So 2-3 years, so in total about 5-ish years ago was 2 albums ago.
Probably. And
then the most recent album was 2 years ago. Okay. And they come out with like 1 video or so, maybe 2 per album. So with K-pop, most of the time, so when someone releases a new album, it's called a comeback because they're coming back with a new album. They call it a comeback.
See, that means that you've been gone for like 10 years. And
no, not at all.
Stevie Nicks and
it's
you decided to...
That's not it. That's not it. It's not it in K-pop. So, for instance, ATEEZ, one of the groups that we kind of checked out a couple things from, right? ATEEZ came out with a album at the beginning of the year. It was this one. ATEEZ came out with this album at the beginning of the year. Okay, the title track was Deja Vu. This album.
Okay, see, I go back
was,
to
in February.
Just the fact that these are albums says it all.
Fucking amazing, isn't it?
Okay, so that's all I gotta say.
There's 4 different versions of this album.
Yeah,
3 different versions.
We don't do
3
that.
different versions. No, I know we don't.
Yeah,
but and that's do you know how much more money? They could make if they did, because all we do is that.
You're right. Do you know how much? Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I mean,
anyway,
my other one doesn't even have plastic. They have the paper sleeves.
Paper, well, which is better for the environment. Let's
it is better.
But anyway, I just pushed that in, and that's gonna bother me. I need to pull it back out. But anyway, so that was beginning of the year. Deja Vu came out. I want to say maybe February that came out. Maybe January. I don't know. This album that just came out, The World, that was the signed one. That was just released a couple weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago.
I was trying to think now. Now I'm trying to remember.
They release
discography.
Do you see Stray Kids?
I'm curious.
This one here, Stray Kids. Hold up. Let me look up Stray Kids discography for you. Actually, let me look it up on the computer so that we can see this now.
I'm actually getting so tired. I literally froze because I forgot what I was looking for.
I want you to look at this. You see this? You want
right? I had to figure it out. Could you not put this in order?
I know these aren't in order. Right. I'm looking at something here.
Oh no, not yeah. They did the same thing here.
Really?
I was like, effing kidding me, really? I'm actually the same damn thing.
No.
Okay, so the starting now just came out in 2021, and actually, New Constellation was older than I thought.
2013. Mm-hmm. So 2013 and nothing until 2021. So 8 years. 8 years between albums.
It was because I bought New Constellation at the concert last. That's what I was thinking.
So I want you to see this. Ready?
Can you really look how many albums they actually have?
I know. I want you to see this. You ready? Yeah. This group, for instance, Stray Kids. Okay, they debuted in 2018.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
You showed me them before.
2018. Okay. We're talking. This is now.
That's a lot of albums.
Since
Are
2018.
You effing kidding me?
That's what I'm trying to tell you. They have
why
2
does it come
to
out
3.
So, see, electronica. I'd even put it in that. I felt electronica.
2 to 3 albums every year.
That's insane.
So, as you can see in 2018, they did I Am You, mixtape, I Am Not.
Is it their music?
Yes. Actually, the leader of Stray Kids picked their group. Like they had like a survival series where it was called Stray Kids, and he was the one who got to pick who he wanted to be in his group because he had trained for the company for 7 years, and it's a trainee is never picked.
I was looking at the about, and I'm going, that guy's last name is Wikipedia. Oh yeah, that says Wikipedia.
Jesus
Never mind.
Christ, what is wrong with you?
I'm tired.
Last name is Wikipedia.
30 in the effing. He must be the founder of Wikipedia.
Jesus Christ, you're
no, Jesus Christ is
last
the founder
name?
of a lot more than Wikipedia.
This is true.
So,
but yeah, so as you can see, like in 2018, I Am You, I Am Not, I Am Who. And then they also had a mixtape that they released. And then in 2019, you have the Clay series. So Clay Levanter, Clay Miro, Clay Yellowwood. And that came out in 2019. And then you also have, I think that was it for 2018. Then in 2020, you have, the Stray Kids 2020 album that came out. But then you also have the All In EP. That is a Japanese album.
Yeah, that's
In Life, Go Live. Yeah.
That wouldn't
and
even
then
give
2021.
Oh, Toad has an album named Circus. Anyway.
So yeah, as you can see, clearly.
See, if they cover a Toad song, I got you.
Yeah, they did Ordinary, which was earlier this year. And then they came out with Circus just recently, like a month or two ago.
Was it called Circus? No, I'm trying to remember.
I don't know. What
Wait a minute, I've got every friggin' one of their albums.
That's what I wanted to try to. This is my explanation to you. Like
Bread and Circus, that's what it was. I knew there was a circus.
So the reason I'm pulling this up is
because
does
that tell you how little I know my own band? Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. The reason I'm pulling this up is just to try to, like, don't try to take this shady because I'm not, but like the amount of work, constant work that these guys put in. And
I don't blame that.
And it's not just, and this group in particular, same with like BTS and stuff like that, they compose their shit, they produce their shit, they obviously sing their shit, they also are learning choreo and actively like dancing.
Right, walk this way.
Dancing and singing. Wait, hold on a second.
Asleep driving.
Well, hold on a second.
Hey!
Stop this recording.
I forgot.
You're like, hold on, let's talk about this on the way to the door. I'm fucking tired. It is literally 1:30 in the morning.
It is
but anyway,
so past my bedtime.
So what I'm trying to say is, all like, for me, there is a difference when it comes to K-pop. There's so much more as far as their discipline, as far as the constant, because of the industry and because of the way the industry is.
But that,
if you're not putting something out,
right,
someone else is.
Correct.
And so it's constant. They're always working on something, it's also honestly like let's be real, compared to America, the work ethic in Korea is quite different. They are much, much better with their work ethic there than we are here.
We could have half of that.
Yeah. So, but they're just very disciplined. They're very, passionate about what they do, obviously. So it's hard when we're so used to something here in the West to try to look at something that like K-pop that's coming out and to try to kind of have our westernized opinions based on what we know on and putting that on that. You can't. It's a different ballgame. We're talking about a different animal. And same thing with their music videos. I mean, a lot of them have these grand storylines to them, and they're telling stories through not just the lyrics but visually in the video as well. And that's why I know you're just like, I just want the music, but I'm like, but with K-pop, it's a whole thing,
and it's because it's a different type of style.
You're not
and genre.
used to this.
And again, if you think about a lot of the stuff that I listen to, none of it is mainstream.
Yeah,
if any of the bands that I've listened to has gotten, one had to sell his soul to Disney, and he had a song on there. Michael Franti did that song. I don't know why, but it's kind of funny because if you listen to some of his other stuff, children should not listen to it.
No clue. Okay.
It's fine. It's good. Michael Franti and Spearhead back in our day. No, it's okay. You remember Spearhead?
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, ska, reggae. But again, they're not mainstream. So yes, they're caring about their fan base in enough to keep them afloat.
Right.
But other than that, their goal is to put out music. Like when I saw Franti in concert,
their goal is to put out music, it's so much more than that because you have
correct. But how much you want to bet
a
stage show for them would be so much different than when I saw Franti at Janice, where we're sitting in there barefoot. He's walking into the crowd singing with us.
Not necessarily.
So it's just kind of...
just played shows at something similar to like what the Ritz would be. Okay? TXT just played shows like that around the world, and they got off the stage and was mingling with the crowd as well.
And I'm not saying they don't. What I'm saying is they're still trying Not that they're trying. They're still trying to be successful. They're still trying to be ahead of the industry. They're still trying to make sure that they're out there. I could name about 10 bands out of my playlist right now that not one person who watches this video will have a clue as to what I'm talking about.
Right, but I can also name you. I could name
But
them.
I bet you that
I can name them. Hold on, I can name a lot of my subscribers. Brian, I should say, could name a lot of my subscribers 10 K-pop groups that they have never heard of. I bet you $1 million, because it doesn't matter what type of genre we're talking about. There's always going to be the underdogs in the industry that are trying but still haven't even made it this far yet. You see what I'm saying? That's in every.
I was just thinking, is there really any popular mainstream reggae and ska?
I mean, like,
I was just thinking about that.
Sublime made it.
You know what? I can't stand them.
Okay, but
but
you asked the question that would be it. Well,
but I don't
Bob Marley and like Sublime are like,
everybody just thinks he's mainstream.
Well, but you have to think that a lot of people that's who they think of. Like, you know, more back in the day and more modern. Those are the only two that I could think of. Well, if we're talking about ska, I'm talking about Mighty Mighty Boss Stones. I mean, right? Is not one? No, it's not Mighty Mighty Boss Stones. No. Who is it? Brian's mom's favorite fucking group. We would watch them at Disney at Epcot every year. They would come every year to the Food and Wine Festival. What's the group? They're like a ska group, and they would come every year to the Food and Wine Festival at Epcot, and they would perform. How do you not know this? She loved them.
It's not helping me.
Well, fuck my life. I don't know. Anyway, what I'm trying to say, Jesus Christ, was, what were you saying before this to get me back into?
You're asking for
about
a lot of remembrance.
Because you're like, you know, mainstream versus they're still working up towards it.
Oh, no, I'm speaking of more of this specific, like what you're showing me here. Not that there isn't people out there. What I'm saying is that there is nobody in any of the playlists that I have that's killing themselves right now to be all over social media, get this, get that,
That's what I was going to say. Thank you. Okay, so what I was going to say was, I think the difference is with K-pop, like I said, it's a whole thing. It's not just the music. It's everything. It's the choreo. It's the fashion. It's the makeup. It's the styling. It's the music videos. But then they also have K-bands, by the way. They have K-bands as well, where there's actual instruments being played.
You don't see a lot of dancing in K-pop. I'm sorry.
No, that's not dancing. Anyway, what I'm saying is, with K-pop, because they do involve themselves in so much more, and I think it's also, once again, a cultural thing. They're very, very humble and grateful. And the one thing I always see in K-pop, immediately, the very first person they think, if they ever get an award or any recognition or anything, is the fans immediately. And the fandoms all have a name. They're like, you know, like for BTS it's ARMY, for ATEEZ it's ATEEZ, for Stray Kids it's Stay. And so they're always just like, you know, like, ARMY, thank you, ARMY. Like, you know, like, this whole award wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for ATEEZ. Like, thank you so much for working hard and voting for us. Like, immediately they thank their fandoms, because they know if it wasn't for them, there is no fucking way we'd be able to do what we do.
I think sometimes
that's why they connect in live streams, and they're talking with them. And
I would probably feel like, and again, it is a cultural thing, you know, that they have probably more respect there.
Oh my God, big time.
I hate to say it's not necessarily like that on our end.
It's not at all. When on earth would you do? And I know it probably does happen, but how often do you ever see like any sort of celebrity just going live on social media and like chatting with the fans casually?
How many of them do you find really don't like their fans at all? You know, like I was how long do you know that I was an Eagles fan? Okay. Yeah. And again, I know it's a classic Eagles fan, but again, I was more into Don Henley until I found out he was the biggest asshole that apparently, like, there are scathing stories about the Eagles of how they were just a bunch of like hoodlum assholes
to the fans.
That,
like, if it wasn't for the fans, you wouldn't even be
here.
So
I think sometimes when you hear that, and then, you know, Kevin, you know, my husband working for, I guess for cameras, my husband, who's worked for bands, and you're sitting here, you know, and you've been to being abducted by Stephen Marley, you know, and meeting somebody like Stephen Marley, who was an amazing man, didn't understand his tour manager's at all. His name was Sky High. Mr. High, as I referred to him as, very nice people, very humble. I mean, again, Rastafarians, I saw their green room. I saw very natural, oh yeah, it was very green. It was extremely green. Very green.
I'm sure you had a lot of fun in that room.
I didn't need to do anything but stand there. And then I had to leave because I needed to walk. Awesome. But, and again, something like that was amazing. But then he worked Smashing Pumpkins. Mm-hmm. And Billy Corbin, who apparently is vegan, ordered a hamburger.
Interesting.
And he had the largest one. And when you start finding out these little things behind the scenes and how much, like, Iration, I actually is a ska band. I love them. They're a bunch of dicks. Mm-hmm. All they want are college girls. Yeah. And Kevin and my husband said that. He's like, I just did not get a good vibe from them. And it disappointed me inside. Yeah. Because I'm like, I love their music.
But that's why they're not going live on social media, because they don't want people to know who they really are. That's the difference.
Right. And that's true,
with them, it's like they want to share. I mean, obviously, they still want their privacy, but they also want to share a bit of themselves with the fans. I just feel that they
don't have a good balance with that. I feel that when you get to that point, you're sharing so much with your fans, you will lose parts of yourself. And that might be why we're seeing what we're seeing.
And that's why, I referenced BTS earlier with RM singing, with his release of the song Persona.
What are you going to post this as? The psychology behind...
Oh, right. With
what my sister thinks about me.
What they released a song called Black Swan. And the lyrics of Black Swan, the opener is basically they kind of reference. They reference sometimes an artist will die twice. Once when they lose their passion, or once when they can no longer do their art anymore, and then of course when they truly die. So like an artist dies twice. And so the song was basically about what happens when we no longer resonate with this music, what happens when we're not passionate in doing this anymore, what if that's today. And it's literally talking about their fears of them not feeling this anymore. And
okay.
You see what I'm
part
saying?
Of this is that maybe mentally I haven't moved with the newer type of music where we are more exposed and we are more blunt about what we're saying, as opposed to writing around in a lyric that's not dancing around it. It's giving you that emotion. It's giving you that feeling. Mm-hmm. But if you truly read all of the words, you're not going to necessarily get it. You need the words with the music.
No. I think in this one, you could literally just read all of the lyrics just as it is, almost
a poem. No, they were great. They were good lyrics. Yeah.
And you would be able to be like, wow, that's way deeper than I thought it was going to be. Those are really good lyrics. Those make you think, wow, is this what they're experiencing? Is this what they're going through? Right. They're really opening themselves up and really sharing them, their fears with us.
But instead, REM sings about losing my religion. Do we know what that actually means? By the way, I have to look it up again. It is something weird.
I was about to say, did he actually ever explain it?
No,
but you see what I'm saying?
No, I have to look it up.
There's a, I think there's both. You know what I mean? There's going to be lyrics that are going to be more metaphors, there's going to be lyrics that are going to be...
It's a southern expression for being at the end of your rope.
Oh, losing my religion. I didn't know that.
Right.
Interesting.
So again, they would say, I'm at the end of my rope, and tie the fucking thing around their neck.
Not necessarily.
REM is going to go, losing my religion.
No, but no, that you don't know enough about it yet.
No, I know.
You don't know enough about it yet. You say that just based on our
but they seem a little, I wouldn't say literal, but they seem more, they don't seem to dance around it in the lyrics as much.
Not necessarily, no. They do want you to understand, the message that they're trying to portray.
Right. Did you ever get that out of the REM song?
No.
Thank you. Okay.
That was a whole weird ass video too. Let's just be real.
The reason why I looked it up is because it came on the other day on that 80s station.
What the fuck is this?
And I finally I don't know what possessed me. Actually I did. The reason, I'll play this after this, but they remade it.
Oh, they remade Losing My Religion?
Yes, and actually, I really like this.
I'll watch it later. I'll watch it later.
No, I actually wanted to tag it.
But, so yes and no. Sometimes, and this is another reason why I say yes and no. Because when you try to translate something from Korean to English...
Well, and you also have that, yes.
You lose so much of, almost the poetry of how beautiful.
No, you're right.
They're trying. how beautifully they explain something gets lost when you translate it for us to understand what the fuck they're actually saying, because of like the way that they describe it and like in their language.
Translation just in Spanish to English. I mean,
exactly, like there's a
and
difference.
that has more of a Latin based for both of them, whereas Korean is nowhere near.
Right, exactly.
So trying to translate word for word, I mean, you even hear it when they're singing. There are English words in that, and it's probably because they don't.
They do both.
But I think in some cases,
they do both intentionally. It's.
I was going to ask that earlier,
more.
but I do know that there's certain, and I don't know much about Korean. I know about Japanese because my ex-husband, but there were words that they would say in English, not because they would say it in English, but because they had no word for it, therefore they used the English word.
Yeah. Sometimes
and obviously they used English way too much for me to think that's what it was.
But that is a thing. Like, I know sometimes they whenever they do, okay, you know how like because this is another thing that a lot of K-pop artists do that we don't have here, and another way for them to just expose themselves and connect with fans is they go on what's called like variety shows, and they also do reality shows as well. But they not so elegante, no. But like, you know how like for instance on like Jimmy Fallon or James Corden, they'll have like a little segment where they like play a game with an artist. It's like that, but like an entire hour on like this reality show where they have like
it's on the show K-pop show.
Oh, it's on the K-pop channel you watch. There you go. So
I saw Blackpink for the first time.
Exactly. So but yeah, that's they go on these variety shows, right? And what the fuck were we saying before this? My ADD is kicking in. I don't know what we were talking about the translations and the from Korean to English and how
not all the words match
and how sometimes they'll play a game on those variety shows where it's like basically like, okay, like for X amount of time you can't say any English words or else you fail, and so many like little random English words are like integrated into their day-to-day language that they don't even realize they're about to say it. So they fail all the time while playing this game because they say just the most random ass word in English and they're like, oh shit, that's fucking English, like because they don't necessarily have a word for it in Korean. So like they have to think so hard when they're speaking because they're answering questions. They ask them questions to answer and they can't say it. So they have to think like, how can I explain this in Korean and go and get around this word because we don't have a word for this. So yeah, sometimes there isn't a word for this.
I mean, it's just the same way that, we have a, quesadilla. That's not an English word. But yet we call it a quesadilla. Well, excuse me, I'm sorry. We call it a quesadilla.
A cheese.
Excuse me, sorry, quesadilla.
Okay, first of all, I do not call it a quesadilla.
Quesadilla.
Quesadilla. No, but is tortilla an English word?
Tortilla is not an English word.
So I would say a round flour disc with cheese and chicken in it.
Pizza.
That's not cheese and chicken inside of a round flour disc.
Calzone.
A super thin.
Calzone.
A super thin. Super thin Mexican round flour, sometimes corn disc with cheese and chicken on the inside, folded and grilled up.
Why don't grill my taco?
Your quesadilla?
Oh, that's right. I made a quesadilla.
We didn't make tacos. We made a quesadilla, man. Where are you at?
I don't know.
Jesus.
I went back up for a taco.
Fuck my life. You're like, I want tacos now. What? Jesus Christ. I can't. Okay. What are we even talking about at this point?
I don't know.
But do you... Okay, I've actually enjoyed this kind of more like diving in and trying to understand each other a bit more when it comes to like music and music videos and why you disconnect
like a surgeon.
What is wrong with you? But why you disconnect when watching a music video, because it has nothing to do with visuals for you. It's about the music. And for me, I'm all about like, I guess maybe just because I've been doing this for 4 years now, I'm all about like literally, I try to literally pay attention to every aspect of everything that's going on between the choreo, the fashion, the lyrics, the visuals, the music, the production, the vocals. I didn't
know the lead singer's name to Toad.
You don't have to know the
favorite band in the whole wide world.
Some of these groups I don't know. I could be reacting to a group for a first time and I'm still trying to pay attention to all of that at the same time. And seeing if there's some sort of storyline going on at the same time. And you're just like, what does the music sound like? That's what I care about.
What are the lyrics? I have to know the lyrics. I have to feel the lyrics.
The lyrics are on the screen. The lyrics are on the screen.
No. I gotta hear the music first. I gotta feel that, and then we'll go from there.
So, are you good with the lyric videos more than you think?
I like lyric videos. You know, and again, it's not my.
Because I'm trying to think. I'm like, I wonder if you would, if you would enjoy just lyric videos more because you don't have all the visual stuff going on.
I like
to kind
the
of
visuals.
You.
It's more okay. So I have to understand the song before I can go into a video.
So doing a lyric video first and then going into the MV would be better.
Usually.
Interesting.
Because if not, I'm trying to read and I'm trying to get the feeling and understand, and I'm trying to visual.
Like, I didn't catch
and then
any
I
of it.
disconnect.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. Okay. See,
you got me on the zombie thing because you had the lyric video, but I wasn't having to pay attention so much to the imagery, which means I could read quickly, I can get the premise of the video, and I can still understand what's going on.
Plus, the zombie one was Golden Child Burn It, by the way. Plus, the zombie one was there was no like symbolism and metaphors that you were trying to pinpoint and interpret into
because
the video.
I was more into listening to the music and getting the feeling of what they were conveying.
It was more straightforward, so it was easy
when I'm
for you to
starting
do it all.
to look for like when again I go back to the doorways that you were noticing. When I start looking at that, I lose the feeling of the movie because I'm not immersed in it anymore. I'm now being too cerebral. My brain's working.
To the music,
my brain can't work when I'm feeling.
So listening to the music and reading the lyrics, doing that first.
So you telling me I'm smart enough? Yes, you're right, but that's the problem. I don't want that. Yeah. Because I overthink it. I read into it.
Would you then, if you listened to a lyric video first, so you got the music and the lyrics out of the way, which is one aspect that you love all on its own, and then jump
I also have to feel the song in order to really get something out of it. Not to say that I can't enjoy it outside of it. It's just it's again, it's just the way I work. So my question is, would you then, if you did a lyric video and music, so you got your lyric and your music all together without any other distractions going on, so you can just enjoy it like you like to enjoy it, right? And then we went into a music video, would you be able to fully just enjoy the visuals in the video for what it was? Probably. As long as I
distracted by the lyrics and the song.
And this is gonna, I mean, and again, I understand we're listening to K-pop. Yes, but it would be harder for me if it was in Korean. And the only reason why is because I don't know the song well enough.
But you've already read all the lyrics.
That is correct. But again,
you don't know if a certain lyric is referencing a certain moment in the thing. I gotcha.
So as I'm trying to reference the song in my head as we... Jesus, that was not my fault.
Nope, that was my fault. Oh my God.
But as I'm trying to, reference the points, you dropped your shake too, girly.
Yeah, I did. I forgot it was there.
Yeah, that's what happened to my bottle.
And it's completely melted.
Oh,
so
no.
There's that.
Yeah, well, this can be sucked up to the straw now.
It was too frozen to drink earlier, and now it's just completely melted, and I have to throw it away. Anyway, but yeah, so like, it makes me curious, like, when we do this again.
Like, and again, it had less to do with the English. Like, you can give me, I can understand Spanish. It would have been the same with it. As long as I can understand the lyrics, it doesn't matter what language it's in.
I should totally play the Spanish version of God Sabbath's Lullaby for you. Sorry, I did that to Mom. But I didn't tell her it was a Spanish version.
I think you showed me some Spanish.
Hilarious.
Stuff. I know that much.
But anyway, so yeah, I'm just trying to figure out my next move with you.
Sometimes you show me too much poppy things.
I mean,
and I get it. But you know
But
if I'm outside of my genre of music, outside of my feeling of music, and I'm outside my visual of music, you're not gonna get as much connection from me.
It makes sense. That makes sense. So I'm trying to think my next move. First of all, we still have to do the one cover that we didn't get to today, which are both English songs, so you should be fine with those. So that should be easy. And you've listened to the group before.
Actually, I'm going to tag a couple ones we listened to on my playlist.
Oh, okay, cool. But you've listened to them before, and you liked them the first time, so I really want you to still react to that one. It's English, so you should have no problem with that. And they're covers, so you should have no problem with that. But it makes me wonder how I should approach new things going forward with you.
Okay, so like the Someone You Loved. Basic video. Obviously, no story behind it whatsoever.
It was just them singing.
But it was the fact that I freaking love that song going into it.
You love the song going into it.
It was this emotion behind that song because I identify with that song in other ways. So getting into that, it was immediately able to get into them singing it because you
already knew the song.
You had that feeling behind the way that they sang it.
Right.
It took me a second the first time because, again, it didn't have that raw, it didn't have that huskiness. But once I, again, it's on my playlist.
Different way of it being sung.
It still, because I loved the song, it still had that soulfulness. It still had that meaning behind it, and they still poured their lyrics
the
and their heart
emotion.
into. Correct.
Yeah.
So that was easy to slip into. You know,
That's why I think you're gonna like the other
like
two
the
covers.
what's the one
I'm
that we
gonna
did,
show you.
the Harry Styles guy.
JK
Love the song,
JK's
but that was
Fallen
actually the
cover.
first time today that I had ever heard his song.
Right.
I think I might have heard it somewhere else, but not enough to listen to the, you know, probably on GMA when she's like, "Hey, I love Harry Styles."
Yeah.
You know, other than that, but not enough to listen to the lyrics and actually get an emotion out of it. That actually were great lyrics on it.
Yeah.
You know, so as
They're personal, very personal lyrics.
But when you switch to the Korean one,
it wasn't a Korean one. He literally
oh
did
no,
an
I'm sorry,
English cover.
the Korean version of it.
No, there
the
wasn't.
K-pop version. We listened to the Harry Styles version, and then we listened
but it
to
was
the
an
K-pop.
English cover.
Yeah. But when we listened to that one, I couldn't get into it as quickly because I still didn't know the song.
Mm-hmm. Understandable.
So I think that was where. So I still enjoyed it, and I could hear the difference, but because I wasn't immersed in the song to begin with, even though I enjoyed the song, I'm going to listen to it again. I'm probably going to have both versions on my playlist again, but I couldn't get into it as first because I kept trying to read the lyrics again because I needed to feel it. I needed to understand where everything connected.
But you will never be able to fully immerse into something upon the first listen.
I know. And
but
this is why I don't normally do these things.
But that doesn't mean that
so we remember back in the day when we would listen to the same song over and over and over and over. Wait a minute, excuse me. With the cassette, take it out, opening it up to listen to the. And back in the day, we didn't have the ability to have like enlargement. So you had the cassette. Remember with the lyrics on the cassette? Yeah, there you go.
No,
and sometimes they were still
the titles were on the cassette. The lyrics were on the tiny little sheet inside the.
Well, yeah, because you had to fold the damn thing out. You didn't see me fold it out.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, but here's my thing. Like, even for example, when your favorite group releases a song for the first time, you're not.
You know how many times I listened to that CD, master each song?
That's what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is.
I had before I could enjoy. I had to listen to the whole CD.
But here's my thing.
No, I listened. This is how exactly when I bought their new CD. No, I'm going to tell you. When I bought their new CD, I listened to it front to back one time. I then listened to every song individually, repeatedly, over and over with the lyrics. Once I mastered the lyrics to enough where I knew that they were going that way, then I put it in the car and I would listen to it until I could sing the whole song. And if I screwed up, I backed up, I re-sang it again until I mastered the song so that as I watched the video or listened to it, I knew the anticipation. I have OCD and ADHD. And I admit it.
Shit.
Okay?
Holy shit. Wow. So what do I even do with this? I don't even know.
I've learned as I got older some of my problems.
Oh, holy shit, have you? Oh my god. But I guess my thing is...
Figured if it's not hurting anybody else.
Can you, here's my question for you. Can you say, I know I have problems.
Oh yeah, of course.
I'm going to recognize I have problems.
Oh yes, I just did.
And
I have to do something about it.
Oh yeah, you're gonna have to doing something about it. Is the key.
Oh, that's the next step. I haven't done that yet.
Recognize. Oh, I know I have a problem. I know I have OCD and ADHD tendencies on this particular subject of music. And I know that I will never be able to.
It's a lot more than this particular subject of music.
I will never. Well, true. I know I will never be able to fully just enjoy something on the first listen. However, knowing that going in, I am not going to have expectations on that. Therefore, I'm just going to enjoy this.
Well, I do, but that's when you get the resting bitch face.
She's just like, literally, it looks like a goddamn ran over frog.
Oh yeah,
just.
No, the frog face means I'm tired. By the way, apparently I don't know. I was told that by somebody. Because
you're sitting there like oh, I gotta do it. I can do it now. She's just sitting there. Stop laughing, or else I can't just do the blank face.
It's not blank face. It's bitch face. Lips not out far enough. See? Concentrating right there.
This is you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm like, are you enjoying the song?
Yeah.
Like, no. I wouldn't fucking know. I'm sure she wouldn't know. Oh my god. Nothing. Just nothing. She gives us nothing. I'm like,
Because I'm concentrating on the lyrics and reading and
So that brings me back to my okay, if that's the case, when we do this the next time.
Oh, we are. Oh, that's right.
Well, we're gonna attempt it. Okay. Look, we did not get to one of the things tonight that I really wanted to get to, so the answer is yes to that.
But definitely, I think Friday works better anyway.
Okay. Well, the next Friday it is.
Just because if not, I will be in more of a rush where I will have a hard stop.
So what I'm saying,
just so you know, how I work. So you saw me get really, really tired. This is the slowly coming out of tired, where then I start getting really weird and punchy.
This is great.
So,
I love it.
Yeah.
But anyway, so listen. So knowing what we've talked a lot tonight, we've tried to understand.
No, you've tried to understand.
I've tried to understand you and tried to understand how to approach this with you. And so I think the conclusion we've come to is if you
although we've come to the end,
needs to be the end of the road because it's fucking late. Anyway, so I feel like we've come to a place where we understand that number one, we know that you're not going to connect with something upon the first listen. It's just not going to happen. That's not how you enjoy.
I connect to it where like the Harry Styles song. I really like that. I like the lyrics. Yeah. I like what I'm reading. Perfect. I like what I'm feeling. But I haven't put it all together yet.
Right.
That's why I need to look it up, and I'll probably listen to it when I get home. No, because I'm going to go sleep. But tomorrow. Actually, no, I have 4 dogs to feed. So, yeah, no, never mind. I might be listening to it after all.
Oh, falling.
But yeah, because I know that it will be there with that. Because it was the same thing as that Louis Capaldi song. Mm-hmm. I actually heard it on SNL for the first time.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I'm feeling that.
Yeah.
Like, I heard some of the lyrics. I felt it. But it was more that I wasn't immersed in it yet.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I YouTubed it 72 times with the lyrics, and then...
Jesus Christ. Anyway, okay,
once I was able to sing it, I got it.
So, upon first listen, you're not going to immediately connect to something. We have already established that that's the case. So that being said, in order for you to at least attempt to enjoy it more, a lyric video needs to be done first, and then we can possibly pop into the music video where you might be able to just enjoy the video and the visuals that are being presented to you. And maybe even pick out some symbolism. Maybe.
I mean, it doesn't hurt to try. I mean, it's...
I'm just trying to figure out, like, maybe a different approach to maybe how we did it tonight. Because how we did it tonight, I feel like didn't really work.
No, and again, it wasn't like I wasn't feeling it. It was no different than before. And again, I didn't mean to say that it was, like, dumb or anything, because it's not that. It's that I feel that way. Because, okay, so it's no different than, like, you've always been the one that of, like, being in front of people, being acting, and I get that everybody thinks
I've always
I'm
been
that
like
way.
On camera
right.
and like on
people
stage.
People think I'm like, oh, you have no problem getting in front of people. Yeah, you're right. I'm giving a lecture because frankly, I'm good at what I do. So I'm just telling you guys what I know. I'm good with that.
Right. As long as I know the subject that I'm talking about.
Trying to be something I'm not.
No, I don't want you to act or be something
No, that's not what I meant. I meant like anything like that is, in my opinion, and I use the word dumb, but it's more... It's because that's how I feel. I feel silly doing it. I feel dumb doing it. I feel like everybody knows I'm acting because I'm just being.
But that I don't want you to act.
Oh no, I know. What I'm saying is that.
So why do you feel dumb?
It's a different. No, not in this scenario. Okay. I'm saying just in if I had to do like when I think of either. Me doing that profession, not like I'm thinking, hey, that actor's dumb doing that.
Yeah, but if I was trying to,
I would feel dumb trying to do that. So that's more what I meant by that. It was when I'm putting myself in a situation where, and I'm not trying to act or anything, but it's like I feel stupid because I don't know what to say.
You're trying to talk about something that you don't know anything about.
And I don't know how to articulate appropriately because, again, I'm not a social media person. And I have a very negative opinion about most social media. If I didn't, I'd be on it, and I think that's where it's at too, because it's like, oh, am I going to say something wrong? Or, somebody's going to be upset because, I
didn't like this.
My eyes were watering on the last video. You know what I'm saying? So it's just kind of, and I see so many, trolling and so much bullshit that it's literally kept me off. I mean, I do nothing but networking. I'm a relations manager. I do nothing but that all day. I do none of it.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm on is technically Pinterest. And that's because they have great recipes. But do you know how creepy I think when it says, so-and-so's following your pins. Look who likes you. Who the fuck cares?
Why are you? Who are you? And why are you following
Why are you pinning my shit? Look for your own shit. Find your own folder.
You're so old.
No, it's just, I find, it's the same reason why I won't have a Siri in my house. They ain't no reason somebody listened to my house like that. It was cool on Star Trek back in the 60s when we thought it would be a great technology.
It doesn't matter whether you have Siri activated or not. They listen to everything.
Oh, yeah, no, I disabled mine. But
no, it doesn't matter if mine's disabled or not.
Oh, no, that's right. You're the lowercase I people.
We will talk about something. The same thing happens, like, to like, Caitlin, it used to happen to her. We will have a conversation about something, and then there's literally, like, I will go to, like, I don't know, Instagram or Twitter or whatever.
You have to know how to go into the phone and disable them. I don't think you can do it with Apple, though.
No, but it's happened on Droids before, too.
No, you have to disable that, is what I'm saying.
Anyway, listen.
Some of us are smart enough to do that.
You're trying to say I'm not smart enough to do that?
No, I'm just saying I purged my phone. I'm saying your other droid friends may not. No, but in all honesty,
these are not the droids we're looking for.
No, they are not.
Anyway, what I'm trying to say is,
but I'm pretty sure
it doesn't matter. They're always listening. And because we'll talk about like freaking Hamburger Helper, and I swear to God, by tomorrow I will have a fucking Hamburger Helper ad on my goddamn phone.
What I always saw, like the cookies that they use to track you, where I just was shopping on a show, on somewhere, and I got some stuff, or I was just browsing at something, like when I was looking for the running boards in my truck because I can't get into this stupid thing.
We're short.
Oh gosh, it's so bad.
Your truck's very tall.
No, it was bad because I didn't think it was that big of a deal, because have you ever seen me get into that thing with me hanging? Okay, yeah. So I didn't think it was any big deal until a while back. I was exhausted. My legs were killing me. We were doing something, and I get into the truck.
You're like, I can't even get into the
truck.
I
was like, oh, yeah. And I went to buy the running boards that night. Yeah. But I went on to a real truck place, because again, you have to get everything right. And I didn't even do the purchase at that point, I don't think. And then I went onto my email, and you know how they always do and I'm sure, and sure enough, it was friggin' truck parts. And I'm like, are you kidding me, right? Like that. I mean, it just, sometimes I think it floors me how easily and how quickly they track, and I mean.
It's so quick, and it's fucking creepy.
No, it is. And I think that's why it's, like, when you think of the technology, and again, I'm a big Trekkie fan, and yes, I own the entire series that I bought on digital box set digitally enhanced. Oh, and not to mention, I also have the entire series of movies. Thank you. Actually, I bought these aftermarket for these new ones. I love them. And it's just, and I actually got Kev to switch
the old ones that you had used to break you out.
They were, yes.
They didn't breathe.
I don't like that they didn't breathe. They'd also tear up your skin.
That's what I'm saying. They would break you out.
Yeah, and that's why I started with the,
I like those. That's nice.
I like that they're stretchy. I also like you just put them in the laundry. I literally put them in my bra bag and washed them. But I just like how breathable, stretchy, and
we totally got off track.
Sorry. We did. That's normal.
That's literally our entire night. But anyway, okay. I think that we've possibly come to a conclusion on maybe how to like approach things going forward with. Like how to possibly I know this has been like a really random ass conversation that we've literally just me and my sister just talking for the last like freaking over an hour now, just trying to navigate the different how we see things, how we see music.
Has a resting bitch face while watching videos.
But like how we interpret things differently. Like, I never realized and I think this is why, because we enjoy, like, literally we will put on like an 80s or 90s playlist, and we are like this,
but it's still that way.
So in sync with,
it's like, because back in the day we had the same technology and we had the same way of learning the music. Now you and I are very different in that regard.
Yes and no. I didn't know that you interpreted and consumed music so vastly different than I did, because I feel like
you don't remember it. And you remember the double cassette player, of course. You don't remember me rewinding the same effing song to learn it. I even did it back then from time to time.
No.
I didn't do it as bad as I've gotten to be.
It's because you're old.
No, it's just my OCD's gotten worse.
It's also because you're old.
No, I actually... there's a few things that have happened since I've gotten old, like this little grayness.
I'm getting...
Oh no, it was bad. I was on a Zoom call and I had to pull my hair. I pulled my hair back and I was just typing, and I finally looked at my video, and all you saw, and I messaged my team lead, and I was like, Danielle, is that just me being self-conscious, or does it really
look like
and
Grace?
she goes,
like, yeah, no, it
she
looks
goes,
like
oh
Grace.
no, that looks cute with it. Oh fuck my life, and then I put my hair
It's Grace.
Because because when I got the, oh, are you gonna leave the, oh shit, yeah, because that's what it's happening. You notice how it's like right.
Wow.
Yes, I told you.
It's blending in.
It's just
well,
right there.
But it's blending in.
I know.
Well. It's almost like
but
highlights.
Look, not here. A little bit, but not like that.
Mainly there.
No idea. So when my hair was pulled back on the Zoom call, it hit me right there at the light.
Well, and it's on this side, not on that.
Correct. Yes. What is what is the movie that there was a chick that had like a gray? We've seen that in several different.
Yeah, we've seen it.
Where you just have the one streak.
Some people just dye their hair like with one streak of like blonde or gray or something, but. Anyway, okay, we've just been, as you can see, we constantly get sidetracked. We constantly just start randomly talking about, we switch subjects a lot. We both have ADD, ADHD, whatever. So this is just how me and my sister communicate. But like, I just found it very interesting. I just started randomly recording because I wanted to see her interpretation to the DPR Mito thing, because that was very different than just your standard like music video that we've been reacting to tonight. Very interesting, and like the subject matter, because she was talking about how she really likes songs that are open to her interpretation. But that,
or that I can immediately identify with.
Right, exactly. And then with this one, it was kind of like, this is very much
a little of both.
This is but it's also very much him. If you watch the interview, it was very much him. He was very specific in what he was showing and trying to tell.
You explaining it to me helped me identify it from the fact, because obviously with my experience, you know, I have direct experience dealing with somebody like that. So it when you explained it that way, it was interesting because, and again, but if you think about it, but so this is what happened when you told me that. It made me look for it in the video. So it helped me in the sense of identifying the video, because that's the interpretation that he wanted. So I would have not liked to not know it going in.
Right.
Because he wanted to make it known that this was his interpretation of the video and this is his story he's trying to convey.
Right.
So knowing that, going into it, it was actually very, I wouldn't say emotional, but it was very
felt more connected.
Yeah. Because, you know, I'm thinking, so this person that I had been with for so long, is that what that person went through when they went into those episodes? Is that, you know, is this visual interpretation, is that his? Is that somebody else's? Is that just the way that mental health issue is? You know, so it's just kind of,
it's such a huge spectrum that it's so different for
so
many
even
people.
Though you gave me that definition, it allowed me to at least lock down on it, but then I took it from there. But it's because of my past experiences with that specific issue. Had it not been for that, knowing it would have been fine, but I would not have been connected as much. It was a good video, it was a good song, but again, it is my direct emotion and my connectability to identify with the emotion that makes it more connected to me.
I have a question for you.
The less I connect, and that's why with pop videos, you know, some of the random songs, they're fun, but I don't connect with them.
Now I have a question for you in that in particular. Now, we just heard snippets of those 4 songs, right? Now, they were all in English. And there's somewhat of a connection.
Are the videos that entertaining? Like, were they?
No, that he didn't release individual music videos. He was releasing these little mini movies with little things all connected.
Okay.
So I think the same thing will be in part 2, I'm assuming.
Oh, okay.
That being said, my question is regarding the album. Knowing that it's an all English, which is something that helps you connect to something, obviously, because it's your mother tongue. And knowing that,
funny enough, my first language was not English.
Actually, anyway. Spanish was first language, technically, yeah. But you know what I mean. But so it's in English, so you can understand it. At number 1, and number 2, it is something that you can connect to in some way, shape, or form. There is a connection there. So knowing that, do you think you would like that album?
Possibly.
I think, and based on how the music sounded.
Yeah, honestly.
Because some of those songs, they weren't poppy, like
so
poppy,
here's
poppy
the thing.
things.
That song, when you played it, especially, and again, I have to know the words before I can do this, but it would go on my playlist, play in my truck.
Yeah.
Like, I even said, I didn't say it, I said it in my head, and that's maybe what you're talking about to make it come out of my mouth, but, you know, I even said it in my head where I was like, that'd be a good car song. And as a matter of fact, my playlist on YouTube, I have car songs. And those are the songs that I know every word. It evokes an emotion. It allows me to get behind the wheel of the car and sing to my heart's content. And not roll down my windows and disturb others. You know, that's Yes, from that perspective.
Yeah.
But you see what I would have to go through in order to sit down and be able to enjoy the album.
Yeah, of course. But I was also just thinking, like, just based on the type of music it is as well, because you don't like super poppy stuff, but that wasn't really super poppy stuff at all.
Not at
all. So I'm like, you know what? I think that she would actually really like DPR Ian. Possibly. And even his past music videos, I think that you would very much like as well, because they kind of go into that sort of, you know, storytelling as well. Anyway, so maybe we'll explore DPR Ian in a future video.
They'd be done.
But anyway, okay, we need to end this. This has been a lot of just random ass conversation.
Thoughts of Destiny's weirdness of music.
Well, I wanted to understand, because like we were trying to react earlier, and like I could tell like there was kind of a disconnect, and I was like, I don't understand, like I'm trying to understand where she was coming from. She's like, I don't really know what to say or do, and I'm just like, okay, well, I don't want you to say or do anything I just want you to be natural. She's just like, but I don't know how to be natural. Like, I don't know what to say. And so I'm like, okay, but why don't you know what to say? Because like she's an extremely intelligent person, like a very intelligent person, and I'm like, I know that you can watch this and pick up on the symbolism. I know that you can I know all of this, but like you're not doing that, and I don't understand why that's not happening. You're just sitting there with like blank, like you're giving me fucking nothing, and I'm like, I don't understand what's happening. And it's just like
video business.
So we were so that's when we started our conversation. I'm trying to understand. We had a conversation before I started hitting record, but I was trying to understand like why she seemed disconnected, and you know where that was coming from. And okay, so if that's the case, how do we like maybe try to get around that maybe for the next time, so that we're maybe a little bit more successful in recording next time than we were this time. I mean, we still had fun recording.
Like if
this
you'd have
time,
done the zombie one, oh yeah, no, that'd be great.
I should have recorded
why,
that one.
Why you haven't shown me the zombie one, I don't know.
I should have.
I mean, zombie's not my favorites.
I
but,
showed
you
it to
know.
Mom, and Mom loved that one. Mom's like, oh, I really like that one. And the music too. She loved the song. It had the little Latin flair to it, you know.
You see, the worst horror genre to me, vampires. Don't care for vampires at all. I know, and I'm sorry. Yeah, and yeah. Mm-hmm. And then the next one is zombies, which my husband would kick me about that because he loves George.
So you like
Romero.
werewolves, I guess.
Gosh, no. No.
Is that worse than the vampires and zombies?
Just no. I want something.
So what do you like?
I need something more creative. That's boring. Like
it's only boring
like,
because it's been told so many times.
But why can't we have like, let's see, vampire wolf zombie?
Well, there are hybrids. Vampire wolf hybrids. There are vampire wolf hybrids.
I've seen the movie.
What are they called? I'm like, what are they fucking called? Almost a lycanthrope. I'm like, no, that's basically a vampire.
That's just a vampire. No, that's not. Lycanthrope is a wolf.
It's a
werewolf.
Yeah, a werewolf.
Lycanthropy is.
Did I say vampire?
You did.
I meant to say werewolf. I'm like, I know what a freaking lycanthrope is. Hello. I read J.R. Ward. Like, I know what that is. No, not J.R. Ward. Laurel Hamilton. Laurel Hamilton. Yeah, I only have, like fucking 30 of her books.
That's another thing we don't see eye to eye on. You would love these books.
Well, you used to read Anne fucking Rice and shit.
Honey Bunch. Anne Rice is nothing like what no. Anne Rice, I only
you used to read
read
Stephen King and Anne Rice and
honey.
Clay. What is the one?
Do you know what Anne Rice's name?
What's with the Clay? What's the book?
Clive Barker.
That's
and Clive
the name.
Barker is better than Stephen King ever thought he could be.
Well, you read Stephen King when you were a teenager.
Stephen King would make a movie out of anything, you know.
But
when it's a lamp monster.
When you were into Stephen King, you were a teenager, so you didn't know any better.
Correct.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And if I would have read Clive Barker, it would have probably made my family happier because they didn't know who he was, but it would have been so much worse. So much worse. Yeah. But no, I read Anne Rice when she wasn't Anne Rice. That's what you didn't understand. I read Anne Rice when she was writing under a pen name called Anne Roquelaure. The reason why she wrote under that pen name is because she didn't want her name associated with that work.
Because there are things the work from Anne Rice.
Oh no, she liked her. That's her work. I mean, she loved Anne Rice. That was.
She just wanted to be able to write separate from that.
Correct, and
not be associated with it.
And it had. Trust me, you read this. It has
nothing.
You would not know this was Anne Rice because I didn't know it was Anne Rice, and I didn't know how long she tried to disassociate herself from that series of books.
Oh, interesting.
But again, when you read that, that was not her. That was her own retelling of Cinderella.
Interesting.
It was a very interesting version of her retelling.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I do now understand why she would want to disassociate herself from it now. I still enjoyed the books, I'm not gonna lie, but so yes, so it's a complete, so yes, trust me.
Anyway, what I was trying to say was
yeah.
she like because I know that she does read a lot, or at least did read a lot, and
still.
yes, she reads a lot, and she likes storytelling, and but I know she also loves music. I'm just like, oh, the K-pop and the storylines, and she's gonna love this shit. And she was just like blank. So I'm just like, okay, we need to figure out.
It's kind of like
why.
when she told me, Destiny, there's this new series on TV that you're gonna love. It's called True Blood. Oh my god, you're gonna just like
She
love it.
She fucking hated it.
Jesus Christ.
She hated it. Well, True Blood was good to a certain extent, but
For
it
who?
kind of got fucking stupid.
It's like it was like the vampire version of a telenovela.
That's good.
Bartholomew. Shh. Y tu diente. Oh, I'm sorry.
It's 2:00 in the morning. He is sleeping.
Y tu diente. ¿Por qué? Come on. Come on. Bartholomew. Y tu diente. ¿Por qué?
What's diente? Your teeth?
It's a vampire one. Vampire novella.
Okay.
Bartholomew. Y tu teeth. Says he's gonna bite her. It was funny. All right. Look, you're not going to get good jokes at this time.
It's not funny when you have to explain it.
Well,
and that's not your fault. That was my fault because I didn't understand it. So that's totally my fault. It's not your fault on that one.
That was too smart of a joke
That was my freaking my gringo ass over here fucking trying to understand Spanish. I'm such a disgrace.
Yeah. Oh, well, I would slap you.
Yeah. I tried to teach you when you were 7 years old. Anyway.
No, I don't want to talk about it. Mija, fine, don't.
Siéntate allí. I was
no me voy a hablar contigo en español más.
I was in class all day. When I came home, I just wanted to play. I had been learning all day at school. I don't want to learn more when I come home and I'm 7 years old and she's trying to teach me something. I'm like, I don't want to fucking learn anymore. It's time to play.
She had to teach you because you didn't pick up on it any earlier.
That is mom's fault, not my fault.
That is true.
100%.
Yeah. No, it was a little different because
Mom never spoke it around me.
I know. I was raised in that household.
You were raised with Abuela and yeah.
Better watch that. That woman's gonna come back from the dead and slap you.
It'll be okay.
You were her favorite. You were Thea's favorite.
Oh, I thought you were
Thea
talking...
Val.
I thought you were... I wasn't trying to say Thea Val. I was trying to say Lita.
Abuelita.
Abuelita. I thought
I
was trying to say Lita, and when you said you better watch her, she's your favorite. I'm like,
no, Thea.
No, I wasn't. I was definitely not Lita's favorite at all.
No, I was Abuela's favorite. I'm not even gonna mince meats on that one.
I was definitely not Grandma's favorite.
Yeah.
Why did we call her Grandma and not Abuela?
I don't know, and I always thought that was funny because I call her more Abuela now than I think as an adult than I ever have. No, and no, I do not remember why.
We never called her
Abuela.
Abuela.
Never did.
Now, boys called her Lela.
Yeah.
Because we wanted to break the grandma thing. I'm like, why is she grandma?
Yeah,
I never
understood
we have
that.
Thea Val, we have Thea Junior. Why did we call grandma and not Abuela?
No idea on that one.
So weird.
And now I've carried the torch of a tortilla. So.
Yeah. Now since she's aunt, she's tortilla.
Yeah, that it was funny.
I kind of pushed it on her, and I'm like, you are like the tia. You've got to be the tortilla.
Because I was sitting there and I was looking at PJ and I was like, "Ay, mijo, come here con tu tortilla." Con tu tia is what I said. Mm-hmm. Con tu tia, and then she goes,
"Tortilla?
Did you say your tortilla?" And I'm like, "No."
It's like,
no,
this is happening. This is a thing.
So I have been tortilla ever since then. I don't even remember.
I think I'm Thea
Anitra. Apparently, Boyce is pushing. My husband is, for the people who don't know, my husband is 6'5" and about 300 pounds, a fairly large man. My brother is calling him Theo Squatch.
Theo Squatch.
His poor kid knows
Theo
Squatch.
I fucking love it. I love it. That's great.
Thea Tortilla, Theo Squatch.
He had a nickname too. What was it? I don't know what his nickname was. I don't remember. But I think, wasn't mine just like the Anitra or something
I don't even remember. Nikki seems to, what was it that she, I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
I don't remember what she called. I thought I heard her say something about what they called Pam, and I don't remember now.
Anyway, so as you can see, once again, random ass fucking conversations.
We're going down the conversation,
get off track.
We're here, we're talking, and then we go.
If you're actually still here, what are you doing here?
Why are you still
listening?
listening?
Why are you still here listening to us in Babylon? I love you. You're amazing. But are you that bored? Probably, because I would be too. I would literally be here with you.
This is probably the most serious I've been for, you know.
I feel like this is the longest we've talked.
All right, we'll put a rain check.
In like years,
right,
honestly.
So let's just write this down and we'll get back together in a couple of years and catch up.
You shut your face hole. Anyway, if Mom knew that we literally just like sat and had
we don't talk
had a conversation.
We don't tell Mom these things.
If Mom knew,
God.
oh my God,
so
did you guys hug each other? I swear to God, every time. Did you guys hug each other? Like, shut up, Mom, Jesus. I can't. Did you hold hands? I touched your hand multiple times tonight. Ooh. I fucking can't. Anyway, but yeah, if you're still here, thank you for just, you know, kind of being here and hearing us ramble on. I appreciate you. This is probably this is how I would be like during a live stream, but I couldn't imagine being in the amount of ADD that would be kicking in with us already bad enough, and then also seeing comments constantly getting us sidetracked with what they're saying. It would have been really, really bad. So this is kind of like as if we were just like live chatting without the live chat. So I hope you enjoy. Let me know down in the comments below. Like, do you understand where she's coming from? Do you understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah, I'm kind of curious as to how many people are
the same. Like, yeah, like, are you the same way where like you do not like connect at all with like the whole story stuff, especially upon first listen? Like, you have to be absorbed in the music and the lyric first, then you're able to fully enjoy the actual video and get more into that. Like, are you also the type that needs to listen to something on repeat before you can actually really feel it and connect to it? Yeah, I'm curious about that, because I always thought that we enjoyed music the same, for the most part, because of how we used to listen to music back in the day, and we would constantly sing along to music. Like, we, as of now, like, we play like 80s and 90s, like even 70s like music, like trivia quizzes, and like we always try to
get us together on a trivia quiz.
Yeah, I'm always trying to like say the name of like the artist and the title before she does.
As I've gotten older, then it's that, you know, the song with the band and the, you know.
Yeah, it's bad.
They had that thing before in the year, and
yeah, so bad. But we love it. And but anyway, so I always thought that like we consumed music similarly, and tonight for the first time is when I realized we definitely don't, which I was
then definitely don't tell Mom we've made progress in our like understanding. I was just so
confused about it, and so that's why I was like, you know what, after we had talked for probably about a half an hour already, and I was like, I'm gonna hit record, I'm just gonna turn this on while we're just chatting and talking, because I just feel like this is a very interesting conversation. And then of course I was like, you know, let's react to DPR while we're at it, because that's very in depth, and I want to see what her interpretation of this is, and let's see, like, does she interpret this differently than the other stuff that we had already seen previously, and, you know, just to try to see how she reacts to the different things differently. She loved Golden Child's Burn It.
Yeah, I'd put that, whatever that was,
there's 4 little snippets.
Whatever that was.
Oh, the Golden Child Burn It?
No, whatever that last one was. That was
DPR Ian?
7 minutes long.
Yeah, there was 4 snippets. I'll give you the songs.
Okay, good.
Because there was 4 songs within that little thing, that we react to. Because there were little bits of the songs, but yeah. Anyway, so yeah, this has been very interesting, very eye-opening for me. That's for sure.
My eyes are open.
Is it the one on the ring? Oh, no. Open the drawer. Open that drawer. The top drawer.
No!
Brian made it for one of our reactions. We were reacting to DPR, and he made it so that he could wear it. He was like, in the reaction, he had it on for the thumbnail. Yeah, he totally like made this. You know what this is? You know the little like EOS like lip balms? It's literally it's the top of like an EOS lip balm, and he just put like a wire through it to hook his finger, and then painted it. Yeah.
Okay, your desk drawer looks worse than mine.
That is Caitlin's junk drawer. So she has turned it into her junk drawer, and it drives me fucking crazy. This is great. Anyway, so I think we're going to end the video now. I would love to know your thoughts down below on our conversation. I feel like this is a very interesting conversation, and I would love to know your thoughts below on the conversation. I'm almost wondering if I should separate the DPR thing separate from the rest of the conversation because this is so long. But I think I'm just going to leave it all in together. It'd be like, you know, deep thoughts and ramblings on K-pop and more. Plus DPR, plus DPR reaction. Sisters, deep thoughts and ramblings on K-pop and more. Plus DPR Ian reaction. Yeah, that's gonna be the title. That's a title. It's a working title. It might get better. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, I love you guys a whole bunch.
I don't know you like that.
She all know you like that. It's like, I don't know you like that. I can't say all that, but thanks for watching.
Next thing, Pinterest's going to be telling me you're pinning my pins. And I'm
they're going to find you on on the one social media you have.
Like, no, I'm on 2. LinkedIn.
Ooh. Oh, Jesus Christ. Anyway, this is my sister, Destiny. This is me, Anitra. Thank you for listening to our ramblings tonight. I appreciate you. I'm going to go now. And, yeah. Love you guys. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!